All right, this morning we're going to start working on making some tables for the greenhouse. I thought about buying one, buying some of them that I see online. They seem pretty pricey. They don't look like they're built real well. My wife wants to do a couple that are like on sawhorses with just the tops. That's something we can break down later on once the seedlings are started, but we got to get in there probably starting next week, get everything going. So I'm going to take a day. I'm going to make up a couple different benches for her. She wants all hers so they can break down. I'm also going to build a couple that roll around. I'm going to put wheels on them. I went down this morning. Lowe's had some, I guess they call them run flats. They're like a solid foam inside of them now instead of having a tube, which I like. So I bought 8 wheels, some threaded rod. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to make a big table that's outside that's pretty much can get moved around with a piece of equipment, but I want 2 bigger benches that can roll in and out. At the end of the day, if it's going to get cool that night or whatever, I want to be able to open the doors of the greenhouse, roll them back in. I want this stuff to be able to move. If my wife's by herself, I want to be able to push it out. So I got to make stuff somewhat light. I'm going to do it out of pressure treated. It's probably not the light. It will get light as it dries out. Right now it's kind of heavy. I actually went to Lowe's this morning and found some. I actually went to 2 different places. The first place I went to, the quality of the pressure treated was so bad I wouldn't buy it. Then I get to Lowe's and I found good 2x4s. Some had some, what I call diggers on them. So I set them aside. One of the guys came up through and said, hey, we can probably, I asked him, I said, hey, is this something you could mark down? And he goes, I said, what I'm doing with it, it will work, but I hate paying full price when it looks like this. Some pretty good bark showing on a couple of them. Quality's better than what was at one store this morning, but I'm like, for what we're paying for pressure treated. Then I found some 1x6x8 pressure treated, basically made for fascia boards when you're doing decks and whatnot. Same thing with that. They were very dug up, and the guy agreed. They actually gave them to me cheap. Like he said, we'll discount those real good for you. So I got up to the thing. Some of the stuff was 75% off. So I'm glad I asked. Something to do. I mean, these big box stores, you got to ask, because sometimes you'll ask, hey, can you discount that? They will. So don't ever be afraid to ask about some of this stuff. It can make a big difference. So I'm going to show you what I want to do with mine. Is my wife's going to have this. I'm going to do hers 30 inches wide with this mesh. I'm going to do mine with a lot smaller 1/2 inch mesh. I want to be able to sift. I want part of my table to be able to sift old soil, potting soil, whatever we get. I don't want to throw anything away. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make mine so that these plastic trays, these are mortar mixing trays. I bought them at $8 a piece at Home Depot this morning. I'm going to make that so that it goes under the top of my table, so when you're sifting it, it falls into that and doesn't make a mess. So I'm going to do either 3 or 4 long. I'm going to pretty much make a table for recycling some of the soil outside rather than do it inside. I want to try to keep the inside of that greenhouse as clean as I can, so I'll be taping as we build, and I'll show you how we're going to do it and the end results. Found I'm already sick of working on my knees this morning, but I wanted to show these tough built sawhorses. I believe I got these at Lowe's. I think I bought 4 of these and 2 of another type, but these are by far, for the money, they were all within probably $10 a piece. But I found these are pretty rugged compared to the rest. You'll see in my videos, anything I do on YouTube, if there's a product I'm using that's good, I'm going to say it, and if it's bad, I'm going to say it. But for the money, I think these were a pretty good deal. It's ridiculous now too. Like the thing I like about these is their legs adjust, so you got to change the height if you want. But like the last 2 years, you really probably couldn't build those out of lumber much cheaper if you count the labor for anything, you know. but I wanted to show those. We started putting the mesh on. What I'm doing, this is just a staple I bought this morning, galvanized staple, but they work pretty good. My wife doesn't, this greenhouse is for the business. I'm going to try to get flowers going and stuff I can use. I do a lot of flower stuff in the spring. People like storefronts want gardens done up a little bit. I just think it'll be neat. My daughter more so than me wants to get into the flowers, but we always do a lot of tomato plants, pepper plants, stuff like that anyway. So my thought with this greenhouse is we're going to be able to have them start early, stay longer in the fall. Tomato plants seem to grow. Even taking them from out in the middle of a field like we had before, we have a walk around garden with raised bed. Put them up on my farmer's porch where the sun would still get out. They would still produce for a week and a half longer than they ever have before, just by getting them out of the wind area and elements a little bit. So it's going to be kind of cool to see what goes on. But like I said, we plan on doing this greenhouse thing we're going to get into it heavier and heavier every year. It looks sunny in the background, but it was like 26 degrees this morning. You'll very seldom see me in more than a sweatshirt. It's cold this morning. We've had warm weather for a few weeks now. It got down to, I think, 19 last night. So hopefully this is about the end of it. It's April, so. I want to show where we're at as far as building the tables for the greenhouse. Do a quick walk around what I'm using. This is one of the tables we're just going to put the trays on the bottom. This is the 1x6 that I got at Lowe's this morning, pretty discounted because it's had some cracks, and for what I'm doing with it, I think it's going to work out good. These are also going to roll around, and this is a Marathon wheel. It's a solid rubber wheel. A little bit of sponginess to it, I guess. But it comes with a different size, so 5/8 or 3/4 inch threaded rod, whatever you're going to use. We're going to put both these big tables I want to be able to roll in and out. So we got this one pretty much done. This one started. This one here I think is going to have a spot in it where we can sift soil, so I'm going to do a little box at one end and put the trays in, but we'll show that when the time comes. My thought is on this other one I'm going to have it so this tray kind of goes in, and I'm going to put some 2x4s so that it slides in, and you want to clean up soil, it will give you a spot to do it in without making a mess. We're back on these wheels. I thought it was funny. I taped it before saying these were going to be the ones I use, but I want to show it's already starting to delaminate. It's just sitting in here in the sun warming up, so that greenhouse will probably tear these. I don't know what good them are, but I'll be bringing them back and coming up with something different. I don't know what, but I figured these are the Marathons to make sure you don't buy. They make another brand, I think it's like a solid plastic. These are like a rubber still, but it's obvious that that's delaminating though, just from being out here in the heat. So, and it's cold today. It's like, probably started out this morning at like 26. I think right now it's only in the 30s, low 30s. So we got 2 of them built. The other one I didn't get quite enough material, so we're gonna go down. But like I said, when I'm done, this is just scraps I had, but I'm gonna screw that. The bins are gonna go underneath here. That'll give you 2 places to sift dirt. I'm debating whether I'm gonna just leave these loose so that this can be used as a regular table later on. The water will go through, but I think we're gonna leave it. I think I'm gonna screw it together just so it's more rugged. Well, like I said, they'll have the trays that go underneath those 2 for sifting the dirt. So I'm trying to use every little scrap I got. So, all right, we'll get back to it probably tomorrow morning. I'm gonna call it for today to go get some more material. I want to show you what I did this morning so far. We ended up putting wheels. I want my wife and daughter to be able to wheel these in. These 2, I want there's something that's going to get wheeled in and out, I think, quite a bit, so I wanted to put wheels on them. I also put the smaller mesh so that we have a lot of planting soil that we've collected the last 2 or 3 years with intent. We kind of knew we were going to be doing a greenhouse someday, so I had an area where we kept throwing it. I also had a local hardware store give me a bunch of skids that had bags that had ripped, and like literally full skids of soil, but it's going to have to get sifted. But I built this so you can sift the dirt and you'll have clean soil to deal with. Or if you want to mix, like if you are mixing fertilizer in it, I think this is going to be a good way to do it for doing small pots and stuff. So something simple, but that's going to help. The only thing that will crack that is if it's real cold. The sun doesn't seem to bother them too much. Normally what happens with me is I drag them around with the bottom will wear through, but I get 2 or 3 years out of them. Like I said, they're pretty good plastic, whatever they're made from. Then this bench is done, all but I'm going to throw the axles on it. All I use on the axles is, that's 5/8 by 11 threaded rod. I'm buying at 6 foot length, so you get 2 axles out of each one. These rims, I ended up bringing those Marathon ones back. These are Milwaukee 10-inch universal puncture-proof tire. These are literally, what's funny is they're the same cost as the Marathon ones, but way higher quality, and Lowe's had them. I got my money back on the other ones, and then I had bought a couple of these before and I couldn't remember where I got them, so I brought this with me off of, I just didn't have enough of these to do what I wanted to do. But I went back and they actually had, I still got to go to another Lowe's. I only had 6 of them last night and I need 8, even with what I had hanging around. But I've used these on something else. I just remember what it was, but I couldn't figure out where I had bought them from. And I couldn't find them online either. It's kind of a weird thing. But then I asked her, I said, hey, and she goes, yeah, they come from here when they put the skew in. So, but these are, like I said, I think they're going to be a pretty good quality. What I did is I just tightened the nut and then put a Teflon nut on. And it ain't like we're putting miles. It's just going to go in and out probably 30, 40 times a summer. Maybe more, we'll see. I think we're going to get pretty involved with the greenhouse this year, so. But this way here, my wife or daughter can push these in and out in the morning if I'm not around. We're going to make another one like this this morning as a stationary one that's going to stay in there against one of the outside walls. But these two are going to be in the center, but they want to be able to move them from one end to the other or even out. We haven't decided what we're going to do for an exhaust fan and all that stuff in there yet. I think a lot of this stuff we're just going to be moving in and out, leaving the doors open during the day. I plan on doing a lot of 5-gallon bucket, like tomato plants, pepper plants, stuff like that. But they wanted to get these. I got to get one more done today because I think next week we're going to start a lot of the seeds. Definitely the flowers. This is where we're at this one. I just want to show it. And then we're going to build one more today. And I'll probably show them going into the greenhouse, how we're going to set them up and whatnot. All right, we got these 2 done. I got to get 2 more tires tonight. They didn't have that many at the Lowe's I was at last night. But we go by another one over in Maine. I'm on the Maine-New Hampshire border, so I got a Lowe's pretty close to me both ways. So we're going to go to the one in Maine tonight and get 2 more. These are the only 2 tables I'm going to make roll anyways. The other one, she wants to be, it's going to be the same as this, other than it's not going to roll around. But we're going to get building that right now. This is the 3rd bench I'm building in the last. I'm not going to put wheels on this. My wife wants this to be stationary, but I just want to show you the mesh that we're using, this type of staples. The staples were Home Depot. This stuff came from Lowe's. And I do think this was better quality, what I got from Lowe's, as far as the mesh goes. So, but like I said, it's not the highest quality, but I think it's better than the other Home Depot had, to be honest with you. But I'm just going to snip these. I may trim the outside with something just so you don't get caught. We'll see, because the grandkids are going to be in there. My wife's nervous they're going to catch a hand on it or shirt or something. So I may put a piece of trim around the outside of these. I'll see how that goes. I have Irwin snips. This stuff is pretty easy to clean up. As far as trimming out, I just want to show people it snaps pretty good. I mean, these are better quality than, I guess, the no-name ones, but You don't need to have the highest quality tools to do this type of stuff. But I want to show too, I used up every scrap piece of pressure treated I had to build these. I still probably ended up, I'm going to guess I'll add the slips up probably before the end of the video. But with the wheels and everything, I'm going to guess there's $500 sitting there and 3 tables. But I was thinking about ordering some, they look like pretty flimsy aluminum tables. One table that size was going to be like $1,300 by the time you get it shipped out. And I just, like I said, we're doing this as a hobby. It's something to do, somewhat to do with my landscape business, but we're going to try to get into it slowly. And I don't think I'm ever going to be to the point where I'm going to justify buying benches that cost $1,300 a piece. You get 5 or 10 years, there's a good chance even a steel one, you're going to bend it, moving it or something. I do have to say this, I have looked into some used stuff that was online, and it's still pretty, the stuff for greenhouses holds its value. Got that bench done, everything. We'll move these up to the greenhouse tomorrow. It looks like I'm going to get rained out here today. I made this because I'm going to put this on top of a tote. Once in a while I need some real fine soil to do some of the plantings I do, depending some of the raised beds I do or repair. And I like to make my own mixture. I do it normally with a screener, but sometimes I only need like a half a yard or something. And I got a pile of material I think that will sift right through this pretty good. Put it in a tote, and then so I've always wanted to make one. I've had the scraps to do it, so that pretty much used up everything that was hanging around the yard though. But like I said, I just wanted to show you guys where we're at. All right, this is the end of the video on the benches we built for the greenhouse. It's working out pretty well. My wife started doing some of the plantings yesterday, and like I said, having these so they roll around for her to get in and out of here will be a lot easier. But I think I'm going to do a couple more like this for outside too. But these are going to be for the future use of bigger. I want to put some tomato and pepper plants in these later on. We threw snow on the tops of them yesterday just to dampen the soil. That was a mixture I did that I think is going to work out good for the tomato plants. But people are wondering why there's a little bit of snow on the top of them. That's not planted or it's not seeded yet. So, but she's going to get in here today and get a start on it. I got to run a little bit of wiring in here today to get the fans put in, and because it's just we got to get the air moving. But I just figured I'd show you these benches. She actually liked these trays that I did for the bottom to slide in and out. Like I said, you can do the soil through these screens. But she liked this enough to where she wants to get like 8 more of them, because they work out good too when you're planting and you want the water on the bottom. It kind of holds the water. These are trays that hold water too on the bottom of them. But I think we're going to be able to use, she wants to get like 8 more of those today. These are mortar mixing trays that you get at a Home Depot or Lowe's. I think they're both the same. They use the same company when they get them. But it just works out good for doing stuff like this, that people are wondering what they were. But this is going to end this video. But like I said, I think it's a cool idea how I did them. I looked on, I watch other YouTube videos, and I just wanted something that rolled in and out. There's no cheap way of doing these, just so people know. You buy them, they're expensive. You build them, they're kind of expensive. But my thought is, with this greenhouse, everything we do, we want to do once and do it, I want to do it right once, and then not have to worry about messing with stuff later on. I do think, being a greenhouse, most of the stuff you build for this, that bench over in the corner is made with oak, but I think any wood product is going to get dry and crack before it would ever rot out. Some of these bench, like I said, some of the stuff that rolls in and out is probably going to spend as much time in the summer outside as it does inside. But late in the fall, early in the spring, this is like, we're just kind of playing around with this year. Next year, we want to actually get flowers and stuff going. If we like doing this, which I think we're gonna by the looks, I might even do another one of these across from this one. But we're also gonna plant all around this too. But like I said, this video is on the benches. I thought people would think it was kind of cool how we built them. So thanks for watching. And if you like my content, like I said, I'm a landscape company. We do a lot of different stuff. But if you like my content, please like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. I'd like to grow the channel.